It's virtually the end of the season. Playoffs, state finals, everything's on the table. We need to be obviously at our best. Let's look at plays today, including some end-of-game scenarios where we need to do a fantastic job. Let's do it today. We'll look at plays. How many? 5. Stick around. Greetings. Welcome back to another episode of 5 Play Friday, the show where we take a look at play clips, analyze all of the things so that we can all get better as basketball officials. Greetings again, everybody. My name is Greg Austin with A Better Official. We craft video to help basketball officials get better and take control of their officiating career. If this is the video content that you find valuable as a basketball official, consider taking a moment to hit like, hit subscribe, and hit the notify bell so you don't miss out on any of our new content. We live stream every Wednesday and Friday during the basketball season, which is coming to an end. But join us for the live streams. Put your voice in the game, and we can all get better together. Fantastic. Before we start our shows, have to thank our tremendous show supporters who fuel the show. Bradley Rehwaldt, Shane Parker, Chuck Ratliff, Les O'Connor Jr., and Jacob Krause. Much appreciated and much love. You want to support the show, there's always be an opportunity. I'll put a link down in the show notes below. Awesome. All right, let's get started today. Viewer submitted clips. Let's look at play number 1. All right, so a simple, can do better than that. So a simple free throw violation play that's missed by the crew. Let's look at all of the things on this play. Right, let's see. Go here. Right. So our administering official actually does a really good job of stepping into the lane and announcing, right? Would want to take a proper location on the court. Not really a factor on the play, but this is not where we want to be as lead on this play. Our center is very sideline oriented. Many officials like to adopt this position. Let me just take a moment here. Right, we'd want to be a little more right here to properly observe the players that we are responsible for. Of course, the center is going to have the free throw shooter and these two players here. Our lead has primary responsibility on the player in the low block, as well as the 3 across, right? Trail official, in this instance, has the big picture view, and they are there. The other officials have primary responsibility to officiate their violations by the players in their coverage area. Something we have to consider is if we are the trail official and we have that big picture view and there is an obvious violation or something obvious occurs, an obvious foul, etc., do we have the ability to step in and make a ruling on the play? So one of the obvious things is when there are free throws, right? We are the calling official. We go tableside. We are considering the foul that we put in the game. We love the call. We hate the call. The coach is chirping. There's variables, etc. We have big picture view. We're looking at the clock. We're looking at shot clocks. We're doing all the things in South Dakota, right? And it's an obvious opportunity for us to mentally disconnect from the game. And if we recognize that, we can, right? Sometimes, okay, I'm going to disconnect on the first free throw, and then I'm going to get back on the second free throw, right? I'm going to take a little me time, as we like to say, and then on the second free throw, I'll be ready to go. But we have to constantly evaluate ourselves whether we are there for the play. So in this instance, our administering official does a great job of stepping into the lane, announcing, right? This is fantastic. Takes a position on the court, which is not where we want to be. We want to be off the court, approximately behind the L here, right? These are things that we'd want to refine in our game. But in the end, let's see. All right, so this is a close game, under a minute to go. And we have an obvious violation, lane violation by an opponent of the thrower. They enter the lane early. This is in the full view of the lead. Center might have an opinion about the play, but also we have to recognize as trail, and we have the big picture view, we have an opportunity to come get this, right? It's an obvious violation. Primary coverage on this play belongs to the lead and the center, but the trail can contribute here. It would be an appropriate thing to do as the trail on this play. So something we always have to do is evaluate our free throw mechanics and our free throw situation. We have a tendency to take a moment for a little me time, and we can disconnect from the game. We're thinking about the call we made. We're thinking about a lot of things. This is a natural moment in the game to do that, but we have to stay connected to the game. The game, at the end of the game, close game, under a minute, deserves our complete attention. So when we analyze our game video and we find breaks in that attention, for whatever reason, we've identified an area that we need to improve. Right? And what are we doing when we're analyzing game video? We're looking for areas where we potentially need to improve, right? So we can get better. It's a simple and straightforward situation. Let me put that there. Let me put that there. All right, that got us started. Let's take a look now at play number 2. Right, so we went to a basketball game and a game of bumper car broke out. Lots going on this play. Ball goes out of bounds. Interaction between players. Referee putting hands on players on the bench area, right? This is a situation that blows up in front of the bench, right, which creates all sort of additional complexities. Right, this is a situation where we may have players, quote unquote, coming off the bench in a hostile situation. So let's look at all of the things, and of course, we're going to look at the entire crew. Right, there's non-basketball activity that occurs on this play. Is our crew engaged and aware of that non-basketball activity, right? There's a lot in the lap of the trail official. There's a lot going on, right? We need to show engagement as a crew. The game deserves that. Now, this game is midway through the third period, 17-point lead. We get the vibe that this player in white was not the favorite player of the red team, right? That it seems as though something has occurred previously in the game and they have had enough of this guy. But that's just one factor in the play. So if we look at all the basics on the play, we have a throw in, trail official, ball's deflected, goes out of bounds, stumbles over a player, hit to the face, push in the back, and a body check from across the court, right? And then the bench personnel, come after the player as well. So there's, this is a hostile situation. We need all the information that the crew can provide in this instance. That is a non-basketball play. That's a non-basketball play. And obviously, that's a non-basketball play. Give me just a moment. All right. So let's take a look at habits and fundamentals. Assuming that, let's take a look. Assuming that that there had been some previous hostility, and it's hard for me to imagine that we're just getting to this point of antagonistic behavior between the two teams at this point. You almost think it's unnecessary that something's been brewing in this game. So on this play, our trail official, if we watch, ball goes out of bounds, players on the floor, the official looks to the ball on the bench, right? As opposed to observing the players. Now, it's natural for us to want to find the ball, but when we have players in this situation, and in similar situations, we need to keep eyes on players. And if we can identify situations in the game where we turn our head to look at the ball and leave players unofficiated, dead ball officiating, then we are opening a window. Right? 99 times out of 100, nothing happens. But if we also are aware that there's been previous energy in the game that's negative, then we can't afford to do that. But if it's a habitual action on our part, it's hard for us to change, right? So if we can identify the habits and fundamentals, then we have a better opportunity to observe the activity. So let's also look here at the center official on this play. Right? This is not in their primary at all, but what kind of awareness do we have about the play? And what kind of, are we engaged with the game, or are we disconnecting? Is there any reason for us to be moving in this direction? Right? If we stay engaged with the game, we can see that non-basketball activity. Our lead official is a little bit pinched down, not necessarily in the strongest position. This is not their primary, but there's nothing going on in their primary as well. Push in the back, body check, hands on players. All right, so this is a messy situation. This is super layered. We're going to have, potentially multiple technical fouls, could go flagrant, depending on how you see it. So we have this initial action here is unobserved. The push in the back there is unobserved. Then that's a pretty obvious one. Everybody gets that. And then we have an interaction on the bench with this player here, or this team member here. And then our crew is going to come together and discuss the play. And at that point, we want to put things together. What information do you have as lead? What information do you have as center? Here's the information that I have. This is going to be a situation where we're definitely sending players to the bench. We're going to discuss the layered. Is anybody going to be disqualified for a flagrant foul? All of these things are on the table. But if we look at habits and fundamentals, right? First of all, pushing players with our hands puts us at risk, right? Maybe the best thing in this instance, maybe not. Something that we need to evaluate. But our habits and fundamentals as center on the play, not observing the non-basketball activity, areas we'd want to improve in our game. So what I would have on this play, I don't think that was observed by anyone. Those two things were not observed. Right? Nobody's going to come in and say, hey, before this happened, right? So we've missed that. That's water under the bridge. This is the obvious dead ball contact. You could say player technical foul. You could say flagrant technical foul for that contact. And then we have an interaction with bench personnel. Have they left the bench area when a fight may break out? That's the variable here, is the play has come to the bench, right? We could have a technical foul in that instance. But that is a layered play, 100%, and we're going to need all the information from the crew. If you find situations that like this may occur in your game and you don't have information, then that's an opportunity to say, how could I have more? How could I position myself, be aware, to have a better opinion on the play and be able to contribute to the solution? So we're sort of placed at a little disadvantage that we know that some other stuff has happened, and that if we get the last thing in the sequence, right? Sometimes this happens where we have a call, we have a player technical for dead ball contact. And the coach will say, but right before that, he did this to him. And we know that we missed that. And we're getting the retaliatory action. But all we can do is officiate what we see on the play. But when we know that we potentially missed something, then I think we're a little less prone to take an extreme action, right? So if we take control of our game, right? So maybe we say, right, this is our game. And if we take control of the game and maybe we're more harsh with our penalties, right? And we say to our crew, nothing else is going to happen in this game, right? We are going to officiate this game in a very strict fashion. Anything rises, possibly rises above common foul, right? We're going to penalize accordingly. We're going to be very strict and say that that's what this game needs. For some reason, we've gotten to this point in the game, but we have to have the ability to take control of our game and do what's right for the game. So maybe our approach here is, okay, look, that's flagrant. That's a tech on you. That's a tech on you. And that's a tech on you, right? We are going, to the wall on this one, right? Because we need to reassert our control of this game. So that is always available to us in a situation like this. All right, let's take a look at play number 3. All right. So obviously we're coming out of a timeout here. The official indicates a spot, providing confusion here. There's no indication that this team has the ability to run the end line. And if it was a designated spot throw in, obviously they cannot have this configuration. But let's assume that they did have the ability to run the end line and the official was just indicating a spot. Now, when teams run plays like this, which is not all that uncommon in end-of-game situations, right? The coaches see this stuff in a collegiate game and they say, hey, that's cool. I want to add that to my game, etc. We have to figure out where we need to be positioned on the court. I mean, obviously, this is unusual, right? So we need to figure out our positioning on the court. I would want to be, it appears to be a two-person game. I would obviously want to be outside the players so we can have at least a boxed-in perspective and the ability to see plays. But in the end, we've got unofficiated action here in the corner. Now, we also have to remember what the teams are likely to do in play situations like this, right? It is an end-of-game situation. The black team is ahead. White is looking to stop the clock and have a take foul. We expect that. But they're also potentially trying to draw a charge so they can get the ball back, right? So our player here in the corner embellishes, obviously, right? When the player steps towards them, they push off of them and fall to the floor trying to get a call. Flopping, as it were, and in the end, we have our take foul. But our takeaway here is, first of all, we want on camera for our actions. NFHS added the signal for the ability to run the end line, several years ago for just this situation. We want all the stakeholders in the game, and we want on video for it to be obvious what we have here, right? So we failed to do that. We have unobserved action because we don't really have a natural position on a play like this. It's so unusual that it's difficult for us to figure out where we're supposed to be. So in watching this clip, maybe we can say, okay, if this comes up in my game, I'm going to figure out how to get a broader view, right? If you are an official who in this instance is inclined to hand the ball to the thrower, maybe think about bouncing the ball to the thrower in this instance so you can get yourself into a better position. But it's a great play for review just to see it, right? If we see it here and then it occurs in our game, we have a little bit better perspective on the game. But we always, always, always in end-of-game situations have to have a full picture of what the situation is in the game is. Think like a coach. Think, what is this team trying to do? What is this team trying to do? They obviously want to stop the clock. It's a take foul situation. Get the first foul. Don't make them have to come back for a second foul, right? All the things in the end of game situations, because end of game situations, especially this time of year when the playoffs, it's one and done. Somebody's going home after this game, right? Not necessarily this play here, but we have to bring all of our skills to bear for the game. So Thomas, about the previous game saying, about the previous play rather, saying, I do not like to control the game, but to keep control of the game, right? But sometimes we are where we are. We got there. How we got here, I don't know, right? There's been some undetected stuff. I haven't been aware. My partners haven't been aware, whatever. But here we are. And we have to do what's best right now, whether we like it or not. But obviously you are 100% correct, man. If we just do the right thing throughout the game and keep control, recognize situations like this guy is an irritant. The red does not like this player, right? He's doing some chicken shit stuff, off ball or whatever. And we potentially have missed it. Maybe they're giving us feedback. Hey, that guy's talking crap to us all game long, ref, etc. But we've missed it, right? But we have to have our antennas up after that. so that we can get it. In end-of-game situations, we want our habits and fundamentals to be second nature, right? End-of-game situation on a throw-in here, we want to be aware of all of the things. The team, what the team in white wants to do, what the team in black wants to do, right? Be aware of all those things, put ourselves in the best position, but have our fundamentals, habits and fundamentals do that for us. Give us that basic positioning so that we have the best possible opportunity to get the play correct. That was mess. Now, I mean it. Let's look at... All right, a play from Kevin Scott. Thanks for submitting this, Kevin. First of all, on the play, we have obviously a dribbler moving from the backcourt to the front court who does a little dance around the division line, raising the energy from the opposing coach. Then we have a deflected ball, and an intentional foul is ruled on the play. So, what are our takeaways on this play? First of all, right, his trail, recognizes the situation, says, I got this, coach. And has the intentional foul. Very clear. Very strong, very decisive. Got a little non-approved mechanic, says pulled jersey, right? Clarifying what happened on the play. I do not see that on this play, right? But obviously the official did on the play. So a use of unapproved signals that communicates what we have on the play. But everything about the calling official on this play is they know exactly what's going on, what happened, and what their ruling on the play is. So that showing that strength is critical on the court, right? And our ability to do that is what we want. So that's a fantastic display on this play. So there must be some interaction here on after the deflection for the official to make the ruling. The foul is obviously going against Gray, and we have to identify our shooter here and get together with our crew and say what we have on the play. Right? Also, when we have pulled jersey plays, when we have plays involving the pulling of a uniform, we have to, evaluate whether it was an inadvertent hand got stuck. Some players have really loose, baggy uniforms, and something can get caught on something, etc., and a uniform can get tugged, versus reaching out, grabbing the fabric, and pulling. Right? That's obviously something that's very different, and we need to be aware of that. When we evaluate plays like this. But a great display by the trail official here of strength, certainty on the court. Appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. I mean, like the moment the player gets near the division line and she, calms the bench. Like, I got this, coach. No, it's not. That's the moment where it's just like, okay, right? So one of the things that we want in our demeanor on the court is to convey that I got this. We will take care of the game. Everybody, all the stakeholders in the game appreciate that. They appreciate showing strength and confidence. They may disagree with a call, right? How can you call that? That was the wrong call, right? As a coach, that's my opinion. But if you show strength and confidence, it allows everybody to relax, right? Well, I know that they're going to have a look on the play. I know they're working hard for the game, et cetera, et cetera. So a great display on this. Get out the way, ref. I'm there. We're there. We're there. Ball. I think that left foot was on the division line. Right there. Right, if we want to pick nits, maybe. Maybe. No. Yeah. It's possible, Dave. It's possible. But I'm going to go with the official's judgment. Not that she had the best. And of course, if we want to look at all the things, which of course we do, let's look at the center official on this play. We have defensive pressure in the backcourt, right? We do not want to run away from this play. We end up in a side shuffle here, right? We'd want to adopt that much sooner, right? We would want our center official here to be somewhere close to the division line, right? Here, and not here, right? This is our action area. We want to have an opinion about that play. We want to always identify our movement on the court from all points. All right, that's our play. Ball bounces in the front court. That is a given here. Hey. It's all about that left foot. I don't know that we could say one way or another whether that left foot was in the front court or not. But that's a tough one. That's a tough one to put a whistle on from that angle. Across the court, that's a tough one. That is super tough. If we had like the CBS, slow motion replay, high def, etc., we may be able to see that, oh no, we had a better angle on that left foot, etc. Okay, let's take a look at play number 5. All right, so what we have here is a situation where our crew has worked the previous game. This is a playoff game. Our crew has worked the previous game as well. The vibe of the crew is beleaguered, right? A little worn down. On the play, we got a last second situation. Here, let's do this. Team rolls the ball in. Looks like it came all the way from the end line in the backcourt and is touched here. I've superimposed a clock just because I think that's when the clock should have started, but it's not really a factor on the play. What is a factor on the play is that we have not failed to observe action here that is illegal, right? If we go back, and when we come out of the huddle here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have our mystery player here, number 6, who steps onto the court as well. So we have a 6 on the court situation, unobserved. Right, so a player from the bench jumps into the fray celebrating and then leaves the floor as well. And now we're getting word potentially of 6 on the court, and the crew is indecisive, has sort of lost control of the moment here. Randy, if you can let us know how it all played out. And then, of course, we have this administrator here who's coming and instructing the bench, or the table rather, how much time should be on the clock, as our crew doesn't seem to have that, or they're allowing this activity to occur. But in the end, our beleaguered crew just not aware of that stealth player. And right, we could take a snapshot of, okay, they're good. I see 5, and we say go, and then that player steps on, and we're unaware. It happens if we're beleaguered and tired and disconnected from the game and not there 100% for the game in this key moment, right? So even if we're like exhausted, right? Even if we're exhausted at the end of a game, right? This is money time, right? This is when we have to be our best. We have to pull from any reservoir of energy that we have, focus and concentration for the game, because that's going to determine, we're going to have a winner here in this game, and we don't want to have a team win that should not have. So I guess from Randy's point of view, the player missed the free throw. They went to overtime, but in the end, White won the game. So if we had properly assessed a technical foul here for 6, a team technical for 6 on the court, that would not have been the case. All right, so we had a kerfuffle about a play here in California in a section playoff game. Let's take a look now at a bonus play. There's bedlam in the gym. Bedlam, I say, right? So I've done some forensic work here, adding the shot clock overlay and the clock overlay, and I think that's pretty good. But we have a situation where a horn sounds for the shot clock, and the new trail official thinks that is the horn to end the game. Fans think the same thing. Fans come onto the court. The official is in the way. The fans are in the way. The players making their way down the court in an attempt to score. It does a phenomenal, open field running, working through all of the variables that they face. They get off a three-point try before the horn, but is unsuccessful, right? So we have had a big problem on this play. And obviously it's one that it's a major letdown, right? There's just no two ways about it. So something that we have to, let's just go back and look at all of the things, as we like to say. All right, so our situation here is 11 seconds remaining. There are 3 seconds remaining on the shot clock. The shot clock horn sounds identical to the game horn. Coach says, hey, we got to go, recognizes the player goes to the basket. They receive a 2-hand chuck at the top of the elbow, and then a player attempts to take a charge. There is no call. There is no call. The player scores. The team is excited. Fans come onto the court. Let's take a look. No call there. Excitement. 10 fans onto the court, including everybody's favorite, mom with small child. The official, believing the game to be over, starts to make an exit here, right? Here's our new trail official. Player dribbles the ball, weaves through, gets off a three-point try. Try is unsuccessful. Horn sounds. Officials done with this game. So obviously this play caused a lot of consternation, right? There's a major letdown by the crew on the game, right? And we are, for whatever reason, confused by the horn and thinking the game is over, etc. But we have an officiating crew. Now, this is a 2-person crew in section playoffs at this early stages of the playoffs. That's just a fact of life here in California. But our crew fails to recognize the situation, right? We have to recognize this situation in our game. We have to recognize what is occurring on the court and not simply ignore the bedlam that is occurring. Now, we had a couple of options here to do things. One is, okay, we're going to be super punitive, right? So my feedback is that this section of fans had been an issue previously in the game. Game administration had been brought into the fray, and fan behavior was addressed at this time. Officials have the opportunity in this instance to assess a technical foul for the behavior of the team supporters. That is an option on the table and one that we have to consider on this play. The other option here would be to say, no, we're going to stop play. We're going to give the ball to red for a throw-in and we'll resume play from there. But we're not going to have the game continue in this fashion. It's just we have to have the game awareness. We have to have the game awareness that this is unacceptable and we have to fix this in one way or another. So to my mind, this is a situation where a technical foul on the team that just went ahead by 2 for the behavior of their supporters. Their supporters are interfering with the game. They are preventing. Now, if we award the ball to the team, right, that would give the team the opportunity to set up their defense, etc. right? So to my way of thinking, a team technical is the appropriate ruling in this instance, but we have to do something. We have to do something here, and our crew did not. And in the end, we have, placed one team at a significant disadvantage, and our allowing that to happen has prevented them from having a fair opportunity and a chance to tie or win the game. The section had been an issue that was addressed previously, enhances our ability to do that, right? The fact that white has gone up by 2, all the factors in the game, right? But this team, the behavior of the fans here has put red at a distinct disadvantage by their behavior. So that's my thinking. And plus that previous warning or addressing from game administration I understand potentially coming onto the court in excitement as well previously, I think opens the door for that. And that would be my thinking. Hey, thanks for joining us today for 5 Play Friday. If you are a basketball official and you find this video content to be the content that you need, be a great time to do all of the things. Hit like, the subscribe, and the notify so you don't miss out on any of our new content. Allow me a moment to thank the tremendous show supporters who fuel our broadcast. Bradley Rehwaldt, Shane Parker, Chuck Ratliff, Les O'Connor Jr., and Jacob Krause. Much appreciated and much love. You want to support the show? There's always going to be a link down in the show notes below. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. In this one instance, I'll put one up above. All right, tremendous. We have for you additional video content. This is a video I have selected personally. This is a video that YouTube has selected. You make your selection, and we'll see you in the very next video. Take care, everybody.